Hello, hello, and happy Wednesday. Hey, Darcy, you're on time today. You'll be in and out, no problems. Welcome. Welcome if you are here live. Welcome if you are watching the replay on YouTube. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I'm doing pretty well, Darcy. How about you? I'm doing well except for the finger thing. So I'm going to be working easy today because I'm frustrated with this finger and I'm anxious to go to the doctor on Friday. If he just tells me that it's sore because it's been immobilized for 3 weeks, I'm awesome with that. But if it's sore because there's something worse going on, that's not going to be so fun. So what have you been working on lately, Darcy? I am going to make some bases for things. I don't know what the things are going to be, but I have gone through all my fabric stash. I gave one of the guys working on our fence a whole bunch of fabric for his wife who's sewing for their granddaughter and cleaning stuff out. And I really don't want to have as much of commercial fabric as much as I want to have whites and beiges that I can dye. Hey, Sharon, how are you doing today? Gosh, you're up early. You're working on a digital. What's the subject matter of your digital? And I don't have any mods here yet, so feel free to type it won't be a hot link, but at least tell us the name of your shop so people that are looking for things can see it. Yeah. I really, when I first started going crazy collecting fabric at the thrift shops, I didn't realize how much I was going to enjoy dyeing fabrics. I'm trying to make sure I get one of everything in there. And now that I did, it's like, I don't need to hoard all this stuff. There's other people that can use this stuff. So it's a lot more fun to pass it on. Ooh, Sharon has a funny story about why she's up so dang early, considering she lives on the other side of the world from me. What's your funny story? And I'm going to be somewhat distracted because the guys are out there working on the retaining wall. So then I always hear the little noises. Let's see. We'll start with big pieces. Let's see. Do I have... It's kind of brown. I'll show you how I started doing something like this, and I did it the hard way. This was something I started on. And I was just picking up the pieces and stitching it together. And it's like, it'd make a whole lot more sense to start with the base and go from there. So that's what I'm doing. And it feels like I've been saying I've been organizing the studio forever, but I have, because as you get rid of stuff, then you have more room for stuff. And that's kind of what I'm doing. Hey, Sandy. And I owe you something. I just saw my note when I picked up my laptop, and my note had slid underneath it. Fall on the farm, sort of. Stephanie of Coffee Paper Scissors is doing a journal, and you needed some ephemera, so now you're making a kit as well. Awesome. Okay, Eclectic Junk Journals is Darcy's Etsy shop. There's just no way I can do the links without a mod here. So I apologize for that, but typing is super, super hard with this finger. Hi, Doreen. Jelly plate printing on fabric is awesome. Now, I had hoped to be jelly printing this week, maybe next week. If the doctor says I can just go ahead and start using this finger more, I have a stack of fabric to print on, and it's so much fun. Absolutely so much fun to print on fabric. Let's see who else is here. Hi, Lori from Book Arts. And hello, Joanne. Happy Wednesday to you. So glad to see your name here. I always smile when I see your name. Your shop, I know. It's the Glory Shop. I don't have any mods here yet, so I can't do the links. And I don't know if I'll have any mods. Maybe I need to, if you want to volunteer to be a mod, let me know. All right. So I'm going to do something that will horrify some people, but I am going to, let's see, I'll need a tissue or something, which I don't have here. How about a piece of paper? That'll work. Hey, Lori. Oh, Sharon's husband woke her up in time to go to see the live, but they started daylight savings time and oh my goodness. Yeah, in November we'll be switching. Lori is dyeing Lake Michigan blues fabric today. What are you using for your dyeing? Let us know about that. Okay, I don't need the glue yet. I need to lay this out. So here's the plan, is I'm going to lay out my fabrics. I am going to randomly just, stitch them on here. Then I'm going to cut it apart. Then I'm going to throw it in the washing machine. Then I'm going to stitch it back together again. How's that? Does that sound exciting? It's different, right? I saw somebody do something like that, and I thought to get all the really worn edges, and I just, me, I don't want to follow the rules. There are no rules, right? I want to thank you all again for last week's really, really motivating conversation that we had here in the live. I was so jazzed up. And you guys have really helped me. In fact, the live was the reason I popped on yesterday and did that real quick video. If you haven't seen it yet, just a little check-in on what's been going on here. Because you guys got me all fired up. And now and the feedback from you guys, the leaf class will be the first one that I do. And it's just in the planning stages. So it's not something that's going to pop out next month. Well, next week, maybe next month. We'll see. I'm not going to worry about covering all the edges either. I should start in the center. Yeah, I'll let you know, Sharon. I'll announce it a few weeks ahead of time. So Lori says she's using RIT, dye, alcohol inks, and coffee. Ooh, can't wait to see some pictures of that. Lori, I have wanted to do that. Did you see the years ago, Seth Apter did a wonderful, shoot, I used to remember the name of it, project. I had just found my magazine that I had saved from it, and I've seen a lot of people do that. The mold thing concerns me, but I have one thing I did last year, and I didn't record it very well for no reason whatsoever. I got color on, I had a bunch of pages in sketchbooks and papers that I just done some experiments on. And I just started putting some coffee on them. And then I left it outside for a few hours or for a few weeks. And then I moved it and put some more liquid on, so I kind of did it. I didn't bury it, but I did sort of watch it to make sure I wasn't having mold issues. I really worry about the mold. Yeah, last week's conversation was amazing. I was just super fired up. You guys are so smart and so wonderfully sharing. And it's funny because if I try to plan conversations like that, they don't happen. They have got to happen on their own. They have to just sort of pop out and surprise us. All right, so I need a little bit more of something else. And I have no idea if this is the size, the finished size something is going to be, but that's okay too. Because like I said, I'm gonna cut it up before I do anything else with it. And then we'll stitch it back together and do something with it. I'll do the same sort of thing, I think, with my, just because. You're right. Joanne says conversations happen just because. I'm still working on that tagline. You guys gave me a whole lot of stuff to think about. I will get there. Whenever I do this, the one thing I always forget is to overlap it enough. Hey, Jude, there's my girl. Thank you. Let's see. And normally I would have so much fabric, it would be too much to choose from, but I really did try to stick with just my commercial fabrics that I had hanging around. so that I could use these things up. And there's nothing wrong with putting some bigger pieces on here and then adding stuff. So what's up for you today, Jude? How many days till retirement? We got to be getting close, right? What do we have? If we did a bigger one like this, it's got a little bit of, I think this was a pillowcase. That'll fill. I should do that, right? Big first. It's just like putting the rocks in the jar. You put the big pieces in first, and then you come back with the little ones. I always forget. Hey, Midge, how are you doing? How's your husband doing? Hope he's doing well. Where else can we put another neutral kind of piece? Yes, that's it. Life is about to get more busy. Hey, Terry, happy Wednesday. 23 days. Oh, my goodness. Oh, the COVID. Okay. Well, I am glad to see you here. Forever long I can have you. He is home after 2 weeks in the hospital. I am so happy to hear that. Gosh, I'm sure you're both sleeping a lot better at night, right? I need to not think so much. Don't think, because it's all going to get cut apart. It doesn't matter. I just need to make sure I'm overlapping. It's the only thing I need to make sure I'm doing is that I'm overlapping so that when I stitch this down, yeah, 23 days. Wow, what a way. So 2022 is going to be your year, girl. That is what is coming up for you. Wow. All right, what else do we have in here? Anything big? That's so thick. I really want to stick with. I'm afraid I'm not overlapping enough. Okay, that's good. Oh, Lori says great conversations happen in welcoming, safe places like yours. Thank you. I want this to be a safe place. I really do. I want us all to feel like we can share here, get the support we want. We want the, what I want is for this finger to be better. I really want this finger to be all better. I don't want to whine, but man. Jude says, going to post some pics of our flax flowers you made for a Maori convention for business incentive program. Oh, I want to see. Absolutely. Hey, Mariah, happy Wednesday to you. What's going on over at your place? Okay, I look forward to seeing him. How's Gary? Give my guy a big hug. Let's see. Come on, we got some more big pieces. Ooh, nice big long one. That'll work. Don't tear. I learned I can't tear with my finger, and it doesn't matter since when this stuff gets in the washing machine, it's all gonna fray like crazy, which is wonderful. All right, let's do this. If we overlap this here, the colors coming up on each other, it doesn't matter. I have to keep telling myself there, it doesn't matter, Susan, it doesn't matter. Why is it so hard? It's so hard to talk yourself out of thinking all this stuff through and second guessing. Oh, I hate taxi stuff. I hate taxi stuff. I need to check in with my tax guy, and see if there's something I need to do. All right, so the little ones can fill this spot. Yeah, story of my life is thinking too much. How about you guys? Okay. Let's see. We could do some more. Do another piece of this somewhere up here. Ooh. Don't think. Just lay it down. Mariah says kind of quiet business-wise, so I got some PM work done, listed our character stencils, and posted the regular spooky scrolls for the Makers Creative collab. Nice. Yeah, so Mariah's shop has got stencils, some really, really pretty stencils. All right, I need to remind me, guys, don't think so much. Just do it. Just do it, and it will all come together. Yeah, I still have to process the flax leaves that a friend found for me. They're just sitting out there in the garage, so I know I need to soak them. Yeah, the overthinking, it's a core competency for me. That's for darn sure. But eventually I get past it. And we can put this guy on the edge here. I mean, really, none of this stuff matters. It's all going to get cut up. And so the one thing I have been able to keep doing with that, because typing is really hard. Typing is really hard with this finger, but I am still working on ideas for videos. You guys need to tell me if there's something you want to see, because I am making plans. Joanne says, last week after the chat, I did my first piece without thinking. I was amazed at the results. I am so happy to hear that. So happy. That is awesome. Thank you, Lori. These are some of my go-to colors. I was so happy to be able to pass my pinks on to somebody else that loves pink, and my purples onto somebody that loves purple. I kept a few for accents, and that was about it. Joanne says, I think we need to trust the universe will direct us where we're supposed to be. I think that's so right. And again, I'm going to put another thank you out to all of you guys for the conversation, because when I go back and I read things that you guys have said or that you have posted to me in messages or comments in places, I see the same thing over and over again. And that's what's helping me kind of redefine how I want my channel and the group to go. You guys are leading the way, because it's always been about all of us, not just me. It's about all of us and how we can, support one another. So it's been great to look at the comments and see, okay, so you guys want more of this and you want less of that. And you're not coming out and saying you want less of something. I'm just getting the feedback of what you want more of. And it's so helpful. It's so helpful. Never doubt that your words have power. Never doubt, because man, they sure do in my corner of the universe. Sharon said it can be a fine line between thinking, overthinking, and being true to my creative process, as I feel like the thinking and my creative process go hand in hand to get me where I'm meant to go. Absolutely. And I mean, most of the time, okay, I think there's a group of people, and not like any one set group, but there are people that love, hey, Mouse, happy Wednesday. I'm so happy to see you here. There's people that like to, the way works best for them, the way that they get the most joy out of it is just to grab, this is my perfect example, grab little scraps of paper and start gluing them down. And I did this and I enjoyed the gluing these things down with, but it's like, it doesn't do anything for me now. But there are people that love this sort of thing, and then they're going to keep adding the layers and layers to it, and they're going to go, but going fast works for them. I'm rambling here. Susan rambles a lot. For me, I found that going fast and furious did not work for my creative process. I need to think about it. Sharon says, like placing the pieces of fabric you're doing now. We tell ourselves don't think, but it's the thinking that maps it out and places the fabric in a way that makes us happy. Yes, I agree, but there's this, it's a fine line for me at least, and I can only speak to my own experiences. I could spend all day laying this out. But part of the fun for me is going to be the next steps when it's been laid out and it's been stitched down and then it's been cut apart. That's the part I'm really looking forward to. So to me, this is like a prep step. Absolutely like a prep step. Hello, Victoria from Norfolk in the UK. I am so glad you caught us live. That's awesome. Victoria has been a YouTube watcher for a while, so I love it when I get to see people that don't normally get a chance to pop in. Terry says, I mull. I slow building thinking. Yes. You know, and I think the mulling comes, that's one of the reasons I like to have a lot of projects going at a time, is so that I can overthink everything, so that I can think everything through. And it's not like, okay, does this go here? Does this go here? It's like, okay, is this the palette I want to work on now? Maybe I don't want patterns. I like to leave things sitting out on the studio island, which is why it's important to keep that space clean so that I can decide, you know, if I'm ready to take it to the next step. But you have to be happy with what you're doing. You know, in my opinion, you don't need to be racing to the finish line for any good reason, unless you're doing brain surgery. That's always my go-to. If you are doing brain surgery, by all means, make sure you follow the timeline. Hey, Shauna, there's my girl. How are you, sweetheart? Fabric placement still comes with some thought. Yeah, not placing fabrics next to each other. It's not a lot. Yeah. And I mean, I think, no, absolutely, Sharon. I know you're not criticizing. I just basically want people to not, I see a lot of things, you know, encouraging people to race through stuff. And I think that's good. It gets the editor out of our way. You know, when I was writing, the whole idea was to get a whole lot of words down on the paper as soon as possible. And then I could go back and edit them and I could refine them. Thank you, Jude. Yeah, these are our colors, right? I've got another batch of fabrics that are all the neutrals. Okay, so what I've got underneath here is just an old sheet, and it was the perfect one to use because it's one of those that's got some stripes in it, which, you know, I don't really like the way they dye, but it's all cotton. And I'm so bad with pins that I use the glue stick, and I'm probably still going to mess this up. And that's a bad way of thinking of it, but that's the first thing that comes to mind. I'm not going to get all these pieces back down the way I laid these out. But what this told me is I definitely have enough fabric for this piece, and that's fine. I can tack it down, and then if I need to fill some holes, I can do that too. But I'm going to trust myself or the universe that this stuff's going to fall into place for me. It's going to fall into place. And when I did this with the green wall hanging that I'm working on, I was going to dig it out, but I realized I would make a big mess, and this is actually cleaning up a little bit of a mess. So Jude posted a book. Let's see. I got to find out. Handbook of Natural Dyes, Blackberries. Okay, I'm going to have to. Oh, I can do this. There we go. And can I? No, I can't click on it and show it. I'll leave that up there for a few minutes so you guys can grab it. So her hubby got her that because he is awesome. I wonder, I'm not sure. I have a whole bunch of plant dye books, and I'm not sure if that's the one I have. Sharon says, I tried moving quickly and not thinking, not even realized, but realized it's instinctive for me. Even when I try to not think, it happens automatically. Yeah, so I think the thing is the more experience you get with whatever you're doing, you're building muscle memory. And as you're building that muscle memory, it's going to fill in the blanks for you when you need it to. That's the way it's going to happen. And so that's not necessarily moving quickly. That's just getting better at what it is that you want to do. Shauna is going to be streaming later after me. Shauna's lives are always interesting and educational. Mouse, sure, a lot of the hangups in art are about not being able to edit, but you know what? You can edit art. You absolutely can edit art. Okay. This isn't finished, but this is a piece of paper that I did something on. All right. There. I can't tear very well with this finger, so the impact's not quite as great. But now I have 4 pieces to play with. This thing that I'm working on here, this is not going to be complete like this. I'm going to do some stitching to hold it together. I'm going to throw it in the washing machine. I'm going to cut it apart. I'm going to throw it in the washing machine, and then I'm going to put it back together again. That's editing. You absolutely can edit your art, and you should edit your art. You should. Victoria says, I love the process of doing art just because, but I do feel some anxiety about not doing something with what I have created. We seem to be conditioned to make everything have a purpose. Amen. And I don't like that. It's a habit that I have had all my life. It got in the way so much with my writing because I was constantly thinking about taking every job that was going to pay me $1, even though I wasn't getting anywhere near worth the time I was putting in on stuff. These are not gonna, it's not gonna hold everything, is it? And it took the joy. It just took the joy out of writing, and it'll take the joy out of your art if you're constantly thinking. Now, if you have a business, okay, we have some people in the Facebook group where their business really is all about their Etsy shops. Well, they've got the pressure that they've put on themselves to make sure that they're building inventory. I don't want to miss all the comments. You guys are already getting ahead of me. Joanne says, some of the process is intuitive. Like when you do fabric placement, you don't necessarily overthink it, but your inner self tells you the placement is good or not. Yep. And that's muscle memory. That's what happens from experience. You didn't go as fast at doing that the first few times you did it. I got the banner down. I think I'm catching up. I'm catching up here. Let me go back here. Victoria, do you have to take off? Is that... Wait a minute. I'm all... Yes, be childlike and create for the sake of creating. Hey, Penny. And Michelle, right? Message Designs. Is that Michelle? My brain is not full on. Okay. I think I'm caught up on the comments. All right. I'm going to do something that doesn't work well for me, but I'm going to put a few pins in here because I can already tell I'll spend the whole time gluing. Art and creating is supposed to be fun. If you're not having, yes, thank you, Michelle. Sorry, I didn't want to mangle your name too much. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. Absolutely. So, but Victoria brought up a good point. Okay. I know I'm not the only one. She's not the only one. How many of you feel that you have to do it with a purpose? That it has to be something that goes into a shop to sell, or it has to be a gift for somebody? We're going to see if I can sew with the pins. I don't know. This is, I usually end up jabbing myself with the pins is what happens. For me, the pressure that I was putting on myself to feel like I constantly had to be making inventory or making videos. I mean, I love making videos, but the reason I kind of stopped for a while is I felt like everything I was doing was, oh my God, I got to make a video. I've got to make inventory. Everything was focused on an end project, and I wasn't having fun. The video I posted yesterday, even though it wasn't, showing art, it was just an update. I had the most fun making that video than I've had in ages. I mean, I love making the live streams, but this is like my favorite part of the week, be able to do these. So it's all about just finding what works for you. Penny, yeah, and I think we're about the same age. It's this generational thing too. Maybe younger people don't have the same pressure to feel like they have to create with a purpose. My grandmother sewed all my clothes that I wore to school. You didn't just buy things just for fun. Everything had to have double duty, and really trying to re-educate myself that no, we can do these things for fun. Darcy says, I just hope if it's something I love that other people will love it also. Not everyone, but some people. Yeah, you have to find your people. We talked about this last week. You have to find your people. Michelle said, I made about 60 greeting cards and I got joy giving them all away this past week. So now I'm going to get more joy by making more. That is it. She nailed it. Yeah, Penny, waste not, want not. Boy, that was drowned into our heads, wasn't it? Wait a minute. You guys are going so fast. I got to catch up here. Sharon said, yeah, working in your art journal, that is bringing you some joy. Lori says, I finished and posted a video on my witchy book altering of an 1880s photo album and pics from the inside. It took months to finish, like my writing. I put it away, get it out, finish, make the vid, do the next. Yep. Well, that was the way my grandmother conditioned me. You don't use the things for fun. Hey, Lori, how's it going? You know, my grandmother, I don't remember seeing her do a whole lot of things for fun. Maybe when she played canasta, that was about it. Michelle says, I had 7 brothers and sisters, so I know all about hand-me-downs. Yeah, so then you can reuse all that stuff, right? Sharon has learned the prints I don't like so much when I cut them into smaller pieces, just opening my art journal and appreciating how much now I love those prints. Absolutely. You guys know about making a viewfinder, right? If you, absolutely, Shauna, it's all about the process. Lori says, not having a process or purpose has freed me completely. In the end, things will be what they want. Yep. So what I recommend when you're doing things like gel prints or even like this fabric stuff, and this is just a quickie way, obviously you do it so it's nice and neat with the scissors, but you can get the mats that come in frames. But make yourself a little viewfinder in various sizes, because if you look at something like this, oh, I guess you guys are really high. I didn't realize I didn't bring the thing down. Look at something like this, but now when you frame it within your viewfinder, you see something different. Each time you're going to see something different. So, you know, get some mat board from Frames and take a look at your project, your jelly prints, your doodles, your quilting, whatever, from a different angle. Jude says, same here. It became like a competition and made me feel like what I did didn't fit the clique. Now you do your own thing. Yes, absolutely. Your viewfinder says this thing is pretty. Oh, an old slide is a good one too if you're working small. But I have in the studio, I have out on the island, I just have a box that's got frame mats. I've got 4x4 squares. I've got 5x7s, 8x10s, and I've even got an 11x14. And it really helps me kind of zero in on what works, what I like. I use it a lot with jelly printing. I use it a lot when I'm doing the fabric. And sometimes what it tells me is that I need to expand something and make it bigger, which is also fun. See, this is why I don't use pins, is I always get all the puckers. But again, this is fine. There's nothing. So what do you do if you're making something like this and you get a pucker in it? Well, I know what I'm going to do is that I will add some, oh gosh, Shauna, what were we just talking about before? Some tattered clustered pieces on top of the stuff. I will tear something up to put over it. Okay, let's see. Is any of this mostly down? Not down. Michelle says, I'm thinking about making some slow stitch keychains with just some stitch fabric and a ring. That sounds perfect. I love little projects that you can finish in a short amount of time. Victoria says, we get this. That's right, Victoria. We get this. Wait a minute. I feel like I missed somebody. Randy's here. Hey, Randy. How are you doing today? All right. It's mostly tacked down. I like my glue thing, but I think it's going to take too long. I was smart. And I pre-threaded needles only because I normally tie my knots with my left hand and it's really hard to do. So I wanted to do that ahead of time. So it doesn't matter how I'm going to do this. I put knots in them and I realized afterwards that I actually didn't need to do that. I am not going to be as neat as the person I saw doing this, whose name I don't remember, and I'm going to have to find it. Okay. And just leave enough of a tail. Because the thing is when this thing gets cut apart and then it goes through the washing machine, some of these stitches are going to come undone. And that's the whole idea, right? That's how we get our wonderful tattered look that we like. And then this is going to go through the wash. It's going to get stitched back together with some wonky stitching. I'm going to throw some ink on it. This one's going to be probably end up being rather dark. I've got another one I can lay out in light colors, but I figured this was an easy thing to do with this finger. Well, what I'm going to do first is subtract, though. I'm going to stitch all this down, okay? I'm going to stitch all this down, and then I'm going to turn it over so I can't see the fabric, and I'm going to cut it up. And then I'm going to stick it in a pillowcase, and I'm going to stick it in the washing machine. And the reason I'm going to do that is so it will fray all the edges and make things look a little more rough and tumbled. And then I will stitch it back together again. And then I'm going to hit it with some ink. And so, I don't know, we might be working on this for the next few weeks. This might be an easy live project. Yeah, and already it looks awesome. I mean, I could be very precise, except it's very hard for me to be precise right now with this finger. But I could be very precise in getting all this down. I could do something like this and hit it with the sewing machine. I could have had dissolvable fabric backing, you know, whatever you call that, the interfacing. Well, the color is going to still be neutral. So this is going to be the brownish piece. And then I've got a whole bunch of, because this is, again, just using up my commercial fabrics, and this will be the lighter colored one. I have so much fabric, Sharon. I got to use some of the stuff. And I haven't finished the bling book, but to be honest, I needed a change. And also I've reached the point on that one where I have to hold it a little bit more carefully. And I'm just the finger and I, we're not a thing right now. Yeah, I need to find the gal that I watched and post it. She was doing some really great gothic-y looking things. And so if you saw the post that I put on Instagram and Facebook yesterday of the options with the stick and without the stick on the little piece, something else that I find that I'm struggling with besides thinking bling book. No, that was when I was working on the lace and all the colors with the shiny stuff. So I did that on the live, you know, for quite a few weeks. That's what I'm calling the bling book right now because it's got so much blingy stuff in it. So one of the things I just realized that I struggle with is that I always want to keep adding. And some of the pieces, when I look at Pinterest, which is kind of what I go to look for, kind of to figure out what it is I like about things. When I go to Pinterest and I look at, see the things that I save, I realize I like a lot of simple things. So I'm trying to teach myself that less is more. See, this is why me and pins. I'm such a poor pinner. I'm getting all kinds of puckers. Okay, but the stitches are loose. It's not going to matter, right? Remind me, it's not going to matter. I mean, we're talking wonky, wonky stitches. Oh, yeah, the name. Oh, the green goddess. Yeah, that green wall hanging is still waiting to be done. And again, I want to wait until I can use my hand better because I'm at the nitty gritty on that. And I'm loving it. I mean, it's gotten bigger and bigger. And I wish that I had it on a base piece, but I just really love that piece. It's coming together nice. The blue background with the stick is gorgeous. Thank you, Joanne. It's funny. Most people liked it without the stick. So right now it's sitting on the island in the studio and I walk by it looking at it, and I actually have a few more pieces of the paper that has got that blue. So now I'm going to see if I have some more clusters that match with that. Sharon, I didn't used to use Pinterest that much. And now I do for inspiration. It's really been helpful for me to look at color combinations, to look at techniques. Oh, Randy. Yeah, let me show you. This is doing it the hard way. I just started grabbing pieces and stitching them together without a backing. And it was definitely much harder. So I was going to actually tear this apart, and I don't know, I'll do something with it. I'm not going to worry about it. But this has a backing, and pinning it to the backing, plus it's going to give it a little bit of a little bit more heft, I guess, when I put it on something else. Wait a minute here. And then laying texture on. Yeah. Well, this, I'm not going to dye this. Okay. What I'm going to do is probably paint it with some tea or coffee, parts of it, not all of it, and some India ink just in places. But we'll see what it is when it all, when it all comes back together again, because I'm going to cut this apart. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get everything stitched down, and then I'm going to cut it up, and I will cut it up online on, live so you guys can see, and you'll freak out. It is a rabbit hole. You know what, Sharon? I'll tell you what I do. I look at Pinterest on my iPad when I'm in bed. It's the last thing I look at before I go to sleep. And the reason I do that is then I can give myself a sleep suggestion. Whoops, I forgot to put myself in there. I've been talking without looking at you guys. Not that you necessarily need to see my face, but I always feel like we're chatting with friends. I look at it so that I can get ideas, so that my brain goes to work on artsy ideas at the end of the day. So Victoria said she liked it without the stick. It was beautiful enough without. Mariah says on the blue background with the stick, I like the stick as long as you break it down so it hits the spot right above the corner darker spot. And then, oh, nice details. I'll have to go play with that. Nobody reminded me that I wasn't on camera. Sorry about that. Yeah, for me, I save a lot. I've got gazillions of things saved on Pinterest. And then I have one board that's a secret board for me that is like, if there's something that I'm trying to work on, like if I'm trying to figure out ideas for greeting cards or a keychain or something, I might have just those things in that one board. And then when I finish the project, then I delete those things off of there. But before bed, because then I like to have dreams about creative things. Oh, Shauna, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so now I just pulled the thread out of the needle. I wasn't paying attention. I'm just leaving it. This doesn't need a knot. This doesn't need anything. Okay? Don't stress about this. So Lori and Lori, they're with me in the end of the night looking at Pinterest. Oh, yeah. And Randy, normally what I do when I'm not live is I take the time to just take a glue stick and tack it all down with the glue stick. because then I don't have the pins, because I poke myself with pins all the time. All the time. All right, let's see. If I go the shorter edge. I actually, okay, you quilters are probably laughing at me. I should have started in the center, right? That's what you're supposed to do, start in the center. I do appreciate the support. Yep. See, I agree, Darcy. Pins are evil. And I admit, one thing I am hoarding is my interfacing, dissolvable interfacing, because I have some other projects that I want to do with it. And you could stick this into the sewing machine. It would go really fast, but that's just not, I discovered lately that I'm just not sewing with the machine much. Pinterest, you like your Pinterest with coffee? Get you going. I'm usually trying to respond to comments and emails with my coffee. So, although I admit the first thing I do in the morning before I even check in email, thank you, Shauna. I love you too. You are so wonderfully supportive. Is I play words with friends. I decided that's my thing to keep my brain from going soft. And I've always loved word games, hence the writing thing. I don't know how many boards I have, but some of my boards have like 2,000 things on them. So then they become more like just lookbooks, which is fine. Paper clips work nice instead of pins on small items. Yep. Shauna, your box should get there maybe tomorrow. I was so happy you'll be able to use all that sheet music. That's so awesome. Thank you also, any of you guys that supported me on the D-Stash sale. Honestly, you were fabulous. And see, needles are evil too. I cannot believe the space I have now. It's so much fun to be able to look at my supplies, and then you get ideas. Judy, hi. She says, I'm a quilter. The only thing that makes me crazy is the way people cut paper so inaccurately. I admit I'm a nutcase. I'm trying so hard to let it go. Well, Shauna, yours is going priority mail, so it shouldn't be too bad. Pirate Ship should have emailed you the tracking number. If not, let me know and I'll be glad to send it to you. The glue stick washes out. Yep. This is just, it's not permanent. It's going to wash out. The one thing, I want to go back. So this was something you guys reminded me of, and then I got sidetracked. What a surprise, right? Because I never get sidetracked. Oh, good. They did send you tracking number. Okay, good. We're talking about, editing your work, your art, compared to, how I used to be able to edit my writing. And the class that I'm currently taking with Cass Holmes at Fiber Arts Take 2, which I recommend, they're fabulous classes. Cass, totally believes that you should save all your stuff and then tear it up, rip it up, cut it up so that you can reuse it. And she's not afraid to cut into something and reuse it. And so that's editing your art. And she uses like a wallpaper paste or wheat paste. I've seen people saying paper mache paste. She uses things that are not permanent on her all her pieces so that she can audition them before she sits down. She does a lot of free motion stitching. Now, I've always used a glue stick, and so when I saw her doing that, it made absolutely perfect sense. Sharon says, I would love to receive an item that you could say was delivered by Pirate Ship. Yeah, it's not delivered by Pirate Ship, but it's the shipping company that a lot of us here in the U.S. use because they give us some discounted shipping. All right. I am just making a mess. Judy, thank you. That's so sweet. She says, I adore your channel so much. I lurk mostly, but I don't miss one. That makes me feel so good. You guys, you don't know. You really don't know how valuable it is. when you can tell somebody that you appreciate what they're doing. It fires me up. Yeah, wallpaper paste is an undo button. And she uses a wheat-based paste. Shoot, I cannot remember the name of the stuff. If Corinne pops in, maybe she'll remember. But basically, it's the idea that you can peel it off and reuse it. You know, reposition it, not reuse it, but reposition it. I tried. What was it? The Cocachina paste that comes in the can. And I tried that on my fabric for that, and that works really well too. Yeah, just to hold it. Hey, Marie. Happy to see you here today. How are you doing? So now you can do the same thing. If you guys have seen my video on the napkins, how to attach napkins without wrinkles, you can do the same thing with just about any kind of glue to make your own, interfacing that then you can open up. And that would be just to coat your substrate with Mod Podge, with Aleene's, with all this kind of stuff. And then you can let it dry, and you can iron your fabric to it. Hey, Diane. Oh, Sharon, you are so sweet. She says, the only person I wake up at 5 a.m. weekly for is Susan. I do it every day if it meant such a wonderful, inspiring start to my day. That is fabulous. Thank you. I just, the finger is slowly getting better. I'm really anxious to see the doctor on Friday and see what he has to say. Thank you, Judy. We'll see what it looks like when I cut it apart, right? It's nothing yet. I'm going to cut it all apart. That's why I'm just trying to wonky stitch this down and not worry about my finger getting in the way. Did Diane wake up? I'm not usually this much of a klutzy sewer. It's really hard to do this part on camera, but I can't really. I can sort of do this. Might make it a little bit easier. See, and then the thread gets caught. Is that pins in me? Not so much. Yeah, I think the cutting apart is going to be awesome. And then I'm going to throw it in the washing machine and let some of it start to unravel. And then we'll stitch it back together again and see what we get. So if I stitch it back together again and put another thin sheet behind it, I'm going to get something substantial, which should hang really nicely. And what's, bonus now is that really I'm not going to have that much. I have some big pieces of commercial fabric, but I'm going through my scraps first. I'm going to do this in any of the colorways that I have enough, pieces to do this with. My commercial fabric scraps are really getting down. Sharon says, I haven't been able to get the image of your veranda looking out over those beautiful trees. It was like you were living in a tree house. That's all I keep thinking about. I love trees. Yep, that's why we fell in love with this house. Our house is up here. So I was standing on part of the deck, and those trees are down. If you guys hear me talking, well, I guess you're not, I don't know, you don't follow me on Facebook. You're just in the group. But I talk a lot about the lower property, and the lower property is where the trees are. So it turned out to be a really perfect setup for us because all our water from the house, when we get those rare California rains, can flow down to the rest of the yard. Okay. We're trying not to be precious. I'm not going to think about this. The hardest thing for me not to think about right now are the puckers. I'm really trying not to think about them. We're just gonna, I just really want to tack it down. hadn't even looked up at the clock. That was a big stitch. I didn't mean to make it quite so big. Yeah, and we've got, I hope the trees continue to do well. The people we bought the house from, or maybe the people before that even, because we're the third owners, the trees did not get a lot of good care when they were younger. So they're not in the most perfect health. And we try to baby them because they're probably about 60, 75 years old. Mouse, yeah, the mail is probably going to slow down even more. So I'm trying to get I've got 2 more packages to get out from the sale. I was waiting for payment on one, still waiting for payment on one, because I'm worried about stuff getting out. Joanne has a page on Pinterest just for tree houses. That is so cool. I didn't have a tree house as a kid. Who had a tree house as a kid? Anybody? I just want to stitch where I can get rid of these pins. Lori's playing along with denim scraps. Ooh, that's a great idea too. Oh, let's see if we can get this so I can catch more of this with the tacking. Shauna had a tree house. I had big trees I could climb, but we didn't have a tree house. See, I could just sit here and not be doing anything and just be chatting with you guys. I keep forgetting to keep working. I would probably get a whole lot more done if I concentrated, but I just want to chat. I just want to catch up with my friends. What are they doing? We had a tree house with some neighborhood friends. So fun. It wasn't very well built, but we loved it. I had a tree we could climb for jumping off of with a swing. We had a rope swing. So one of our big almond trees, whoops, pulled the thread right out of that needle. Yeah, that one's long enough. I'm just leaving it. I'm not going to worry about it. Darcy lived on a dead end and had the woods to play in with a creek. Oh, awesome. Sean, I was asking if people had a tree house. I'm sorry. I thought you said that you did. I must have been delayed. Mariah said my cousin had one and we loved it. I had friends that had like clubhouses, but they were all ground level. Okay, how's this? Share a favorite childhood memory. Has absolutely nothing to do with art, except I bet it makes you smile. For me, it was when we would we had enough walnut trees that we had more than we could use, and my grandmother would sell the good pieces to the local bakery. But every year, my uncles would come over, because I lived with my grandparents, and my uncles would come over and we would get these long bamboo poles and they would stand underneath the walnut trees and they would knock all the walnuts down. And then we would put them out on the screens to dry. And then we would have to peel the outside skin from them. And so my fingers would be completely stained for weeks. And then we would crack the walnuts. Like I said, my grandmother would sell the good ones, the whole ones, to the local bakery. I have your undivided attention. You are really kind. Darcy says, my uncle built a pirate ship in his backyard for his grandkids and grandnieces and nephews. Oh, that's awesome. You are crazy, multitasking OCD nut, Shauna. Well, you're our nut. You're our nut. I'm a little OCD, and I don't multitask as well as I did when I was your age, but I still multitask. Tell you, anybody else, you get in the mode where, like I'm putting things back in the studio and realized, oh, I didn't need to give prime real estate to some other things that I didn't use as often. And then I'm just in this mode, like, okay, I got to throw this out. I got to throw that. I just want to get rid of all this stuff. I'll never be a minimalist. My son is a minimalist, but I just really want to get rid of stuff. Joanne says, I love making mud pies and decorating them with leaves and flowers. Oh, yes. The walnut shells made the perfect pirate ship. I used to get in trouble. Okay, one of my jobs was to water the walnut trees. And my grandfather had, we didn't have sprinkler systems back then, really. So what we would do is make the dirt moats around the walnut trees. And then my job was to go run the hose out there and then take it from, one tree to the next. And so I would fill the walnut shells with mud and make a little stick and the flag, so that you could decorate them. And then I would make a hole from the trench of the water so that the water would go from one tree to the next tree to the next tree. But basically it was just so that my little ships had places to float. They have a Halloween party on the pirate ship. Oh yeah, put a picture up. I would love to see that. What a perfect place for the Halloween party. That's awesome. Mariah says, we have a big table. I keep asking Patricia if we can go through the boxes. She isn't ready. Yeah, there's a lot okay, the current problem right now on the table in the garage is I have 120 figurines. The figurines are all characters that are either reading or writing a book or writing a desk or book or at a desk, that kind of thing, because all my years of writing I saved. See, now I've got puckers happening here. I saved I collected these figurines and they're beautiful. I've got a few Hummels and Goebel and a lot of Charming Tales, just tons of them. I've got pigs reading a book and Woody Woodpecker reading a book and mice and all these different things, and it's time for them to find a new home. And I've been trying to sell them on Craigslist and the local marketplace, and I'm not getting any buys. I mean, I would take a decent offer on them, but there's 120 of them. I can't bring myself to let them go to the thrift store yet. And I'm afraid that that's where it's heading. And I just really, how does it work with my minimalist son visits me? Well, at the old house, he loved it because I had the huge library. I have not seen him for 5, 6, 7 years, maybe. He lives a distance away, and even pre-COVID, getting together was hard. But he's fine. He loves me. He's always been a minimalist since he was a kid, and he's 40 years old. Mud pies, most fun. Remember, a baking afternoon I had making mud pies and cakes. Diane says, I wish I lived in the countryside. Yeah. Victoria used to make mud pies too. Lori just cut and used a piece of fabric that I thought I should save. Freedom! Yes, go for it, Lori. Use it up. Use it up. Nice. So yeah, I need to convince myself that, maybe I'll pull a few of the things to try and sell on eBay, but yeah, my son is used to the fact that I am slightly crazy. Bless his heart. He's been working on the website for me. I was, almost ready to launch it. And I said, I really want all my old blog posts from all the years that, I was writing a whole lot of blogs. And he's like, well, just import it. And it's like, it's going to take me forever. There's so many blog posts. He's like, it can't take that long. I was like, look, I'll pay you to do it for me. He's like, yeah, right. And then when he finally did it, he's like, oh my gosh, there were, so many. Diane, you know what? I totally forgot. Send me a message, remind me and give me a, whatever city area, that I need to put into pirate ship. And then I can give you a price on what the shipping would be for the napkins. I'm so sorry. I dropped the ball on that one. Lori, maybe that's an idea. Maybe the library. I will contact them and see. Because, if they go to Goodwill, half of them are going to get broken. Yeah, I'm sorry for dropping the ball, Diane. So I'm glad that today is not the day they're doing cement. Tomorrow, the guys are, I'm rambling all over the place again. That's what I can do here with my friends. They're going to be pouring the cement to keep the steel beams in place for the retaining wall, which is exciting because we've got rain maybe coming next week. Well, Diane, I'd like to, if we're going to ship them, I'd like to ship them for you before it gets too much later, because with the holiday season, I've got to ship a package to Canada and I'm worried about shipping. Sharon, take a look at Wix. It's free and it would be an easy way for you to get started and see if you like it. Very easy for people that are just getting started. I used to design websites like when websites were new, like what, how long ago was that, Mariah? 15 years ago? I did a lot of that kind of stuff, but yeah, and Mariah can help you when you're ready to do something a little bit bigger. What's nice about having somebody like Mariah or my son that did it for me is that then you can just sit down and do the fun stuff. And it was lovely to take a look at all the, blog posts. I mean, we're talking back, I don't know how many years, but all my writing blog posts, which a lot of those, then I can go through and pull a lot of the creativity information to share. Hey, Joyce. Okay, London. Okay, Diane. And were you interested in the full size napkins or the ones that are fussy cut? The packages of the full size ones are 15. There's 53 in a bag. And there also happens to be 53 of the fussy cuts, and those are $5. All right, I still have one needle threaded. Yeah, I hate to admit that I actually had created some of those horrible fluorescent green blinking websites many years ago. It's kind of fun though now looking at people whose websites I did, their first websites, and of course, things have evolved and they're much better now. But the people are like kind of famous. It's like, oh, cool. And then when I worked in corporate, I do still write for me, and I'm one of there's certain types of writing that I really enjoy. I enjoy poetry, but what I really enjoy also is motivational kind of stuff, things that make you, kind of like our talks here. And so that's why I wanted to make sure I grabbed all the old blog posts, because there's a lot of great jumping off spots in there from when I was doing motivational talks for writers. And, a lot of the same information applies to all creatives. And so I want to do ebooks, because there are some people that, maybe they don't want to hear the audio, maybe they want to read it, or they want to have that to combine with it. And I figure if I do some ebooks and combine it with some of my art, that might be a good way. Yeah, Mariah, you do the whole ball of wax. I used to do really fancy ones when I worked for a company that did websites for writers back in the Dreamweaver days, when that was like the go-to thing to use. Now I'm all about WordPress. Yeah, motivational, sometimes it's a kick in the butt. And I was really glad we brought up, I forgot the gal whose name, Harmony was in her name, that brought up the War of Art book last week, because I pulled my copy out and have started to reread it again. And I know Joanne read it and really felt like it spoke to her. But I have so many great things about motivation. When I spoke at Chautauqua many moons ago at the Highlights conference, that was like one of the highlights of my career, really, to do that. When the guy from Highlights magazine that we all grew up with calls you and asks you to come do a speech, you're like, whoa. Yeah, Dreamweaver gave me nightmares. Yeah, glad to not be doing that anymore. No, I like WordPress, but I really like being able to pay my son to do it. It's like, yeah. He's like, you could do this stuff. I said, I know I can do it, but I don't want to. I don't journal as much as I used to. But I do love to write. There's just something about, having just that phrase that just says exactly what you wanted it to say. And I collect words. Well, you can always talk to Mariah because she is a rock star and she could, get you set up with something very simple that you could then, do the things that you want to do. One of the things that I'm really trying to do lately is evaluate my time. Yes, I can do this, but does that mean I should? Is there somebody I can, like, I would love to find a video editor, but I just, I haven't found somebody that I can afford yet. I would make more videos if I had somebody to help me with the editing. And my son's like, no, I don't want to do that. Great. Don't you have a friend or maybe that does something like that? He's like, nope. Mariah said, we have a development team that handles the bigger custom coding stuff. My husband and I create the design and the mock-ups, and they make it happen. Yeah. My son works for a company that designs only automotive websites. That's it. They only do automotive websites. And so he's got like one part of the puzzle. So it's nice if you have a team. Mal says, what kind of words do you collect? I collect those, unusual words that sometimes sound like what they are. And of course, am I going to be able to bring you any up? No. I think I'm going to do a kit on some of them. Do I have a catalog of all my ideas? Like, things that I want to make? Yes. I keep a record. I keep a book of all my different ideas because I'm never going to remember them on my own. Oh, Sharon, that's the old website that's up. The new one hasn't launched yet. You'll see it on the new one. Okay? I promise. I'll let you know. Yeah, Mariah, wouldn't a video editor be bliss? I asked a friend who just started hiring an editor to do her videos, and she pays like $150 for them to edit a video. And I'm just not making that kind of money to be able to do that. So it's going to be me. Yeah, I will definitely let you know, Sharon, when it's up. Maybe this weekend I just need to take a look at the like 1,200 blog posts that my son imported for me because the media, the posts imported, but it doesn't take all the media. So some of them are going to look kind of funky if it's referencing a picture that's not there anymore. So I have to decide how I want to deal with it. And I was going to show, I'm still planning on it, where I will show my ideas books, my book of words, kind words that people say to me. And that I literally just print out and glue it into a journal and then sometimes throw some watercolor over it. Yeah, it's a good price, but unless you're, if you're getting, thousands of views on your videos, then you're making the kind of money. Plus, we're not in, you and I, Mariah, and the rest of us here, we're not in the YouTube market that gets the big bucks. I mean, the technology guys, man, even with the same amount of views as somebody in a craft channel, they're getting so much more money per view. But it is what it is. Oh, Sharon, I think you are very quotable. You're always so free with your kind words of support. And so I said this maybe a few weeks ago, but I'll say it again. If you are not keeping a record of the kind words that people say to you, please consider starting. Please consider starting, because when you're having one of those doubt days where you are thinking too much about what it is you're working on, or you're feeling like you're, process driven or in project purpose driven, purpose driven instead of process driven, then you can go back and take a look at those words and get motivated to keep doing whatever it is you're doing. Goals for sure. Absolutely, Mariah. Randy says, oh my God, video editor, my nemesis. I was given a referral for a super basic one, and the tutorials are quick emails that I can't follow at all. Oh no. What were you using for your editor, Randy? Because that does make a difference. Jude says, why would you want to edit a video? I love those who can just let them be, like Susan's latest and Shauna's, but that's just you. Yeah. Most of my videos are like that. The ones that, I kind of like to edit would be like I've got the copyright videos. I've got more stuff to add to that now. I'm better at doing edits or doing videos than I was when I first started those. I'm going to crisscross my line here because I've got just a little bit of thread here. Oh, no, Jude, it's not your intention at all. For the most part, you won't find me editing more of my videos, but the classes that I'm developing, those will definitely need to be edited. Unless I do it as okay, hey, I've got my group here. I will ask you. If you were going to take a class from me, would you want it a recorded class that you could have lifetime access to, or would you want it a one-time kind of Zoom live class where you got it as it happened and that was it? Joyce, a kind words book makes all the difference to me. I just can pick it up and take a look at all the nice things that people have said, and I feel like I'm not wasting my time. Wow, this is wonky stitching to the nth degree, and that's okay. All right, so what I'm going to do, I've got about 15 minutes left, and I am going to hydrate. Yeah, Judy, I always go for the recorded because I like to go back. I like to watch everything once before I even start doing anything. And then I can go back and rewatch it to get what I missed and start over. All right. Oh, but Mariah says we have to edit most of ours since what we make is in the evening and it's chaos. Uninterrupted time is not something we get at this time. No, because Izzy's young and you're going to be crazy like that. Yeah, what I'm thinking is I might do something as a Zoom component. I might do like a craft and chat class that's kind of like free form. Do one for the US times and one for the Australia times. And that would just be like a one-shot thing. But Mariah made me think of something. And that something was, what do you guys think of people that do lives like Mariah and I? And I don't know, Mariah, you may do this or may not do this. But I know that like Art Joy of Sharing does it, where they then take an excerpt from their live and put that up as a video. So you're not getting, edited comments or anything from them. You're just getting a shorter version of it. I've kind of wondered about doing something like that, but I don't know whether people then think, well, I already saw this, I saw her live, but there's not a lot of people that can't make the live. So I'm wondering. Yeah, I love Zoom too. I really do. So I'm kind of thinking maybe I would do, just like a nominal fee, like a $10 fee to drop in and chat on Zoom. So let me know in the comments if you think that might be something you might be interested in, because that is easy to do. That would be faster to do than the getting the leaf project class. That's all I'm going to say about it because I'm excited about it. Yeah, so it might be two different things. I'm in a creative business group where we get together every week on Zoom, and it is just the best thing. I'm always fired up after it. And then we get to, ask whatever we're dealing with business-wise. Yeah, I watched a couple of videos about the automated chapters, and I'm not thinking that's going to be such a good thing. I'm not thinking it's going to be a good thing for us. Yeah, the class is something to review. Yep. And I've done some Zoom classes where, then the stuff's gone right away. And that's frustrating. I also like the classes where if you're paying the money for the class, Randy, are you on a PC or a Mac? What was I saying? So some classes, do you guys like the idea that there's a Facebook group just for people that are taking the class? Like, I don't like them where, I mean, I understand when you have a whole bunch of classes, you have to do this, but like Lally Mill, however she does it, if you've taken one of her classes, any one of her classes, so she has 10 classes, all 10 classes have a Facebook group that are just for people that are in the class. And I kind of like that idea rather than, if you have 10 classes, you have 10 different Facebook groups, because then I would never have any time to make art. I would always be in groups. Okay, let's see. Because you know what? If I don't have the pins, I will pick this up a lot faster and zip through this. Let's see. Is everything mostly down? At least that part. It's going to be puckery, and it's not going to matter, right? It is not going to matter. All right, I need thread. Well, Randy, when you find it, let me know, and maybe we can help you out. But you guys have to let me know what other kind of classes you might be interested in, because that is definitely going to be something I do more of. I enjoy teaching. I used to teach writing. I used to teach poetry. I used to teach public speaking. Oh, Judy, I love it. It's not puckery, it's texture. And you're right. You stitch this down and you get some really neat texture. Mouse, Zoom class would probably need to be number of people limited. Yeah, I've done a Zoom class where there were like over 100 people in it, and you have all the little tiny pictures on the screen, and that's really hard. I mean, I have the pro version of Zoom. I can have gobs of people, but it does change the way you interact. All right, so I'm going to see how fast I can just go zippity doo-dah and at least get these things. Would you guys be interested in like a Zoom writing, like kind of a prompt class, where we just sort of wrote and then we could use our own whatever art supplies we had on hand to kind of decorate some things like that? Breaking the videos down like paperclip clusters was really a breakthrough for us, focusing on one of the elements versus the entire build. Now that we do the big process during the live stream, that's great. Oh, thank you, Lori. I didn't used to be real confident. Have I told you guys the story that the very first time that I went to do a speech, I was speaking to a group of like preschooler, kindergarten age kids. Okay. Not intimidating at all. Right. Because they just want to hear themselves talk. I was speaking to them about my book, one of my picture books. And before I went up, I threw up. I had to run in the bathroom and throw up before I could go talk. It was horrible. It was such a horrible experience. Oh, so writing on Zoom would be cool. Awesome. So like maybe just like a 1 hour prompted kind of writing thing for a very reasonable cost. That would be super. Ooh, we could have a book where we, just kind of kept doing these kind of exercises in. Filmmaker Pro. Oh, wow. That's going way back. That's probably an issue. Okay. So Randy, let me make myself a note. So I got 2 notes here. I have Diane London Napkins. And Randy, are you filming on an iPhone or an Android? Oh, you're on you're on an Android phone. Okay, no problem. We can get you there. I'm going to send you the link to somebody who's got a whole bunch of videos on how to do it with your Android phone. You won't ever have to do anything. Oh, Jude says everything Susan does for class would be awesome. You guys are so fabulous. Thank you. Yeah, get me fired up. You are getting me fired up. Let's hope the doctor says good things about my finger on Friday. Okay, that's what I want. I need the doctor to say it's time to just start the rehab on it. Zoom. Okay, what day of the week? Especially since we're dealing with people in different countries. If I did it Saturday from Saturday, it would be Saturday late afternoon, evening would be morning for you guys. Yeah. I don't want to cool off. I want to stay fired up. I want to go, go, go. Being on camera is intimidating to me. I know I need to get past this. A Facebook class is right up my alley. Okay. Well, on Zoom, you don't have to show your face. You can hide it if we were on Zoom. We could also work towards the future doing some classes on helping you get better with camera and speaking. Randy said, I had a very traumatic event in my life, getting past it now, but if found I can't find my words like I used to. I feel like my brain quit working. So sometimes it gets awkward. Yeah, well, life gets awkward. Life is not perfect. Hey, Tony, welcome, lurker. You want to do a few lives. Clueless as to how I set up showing my crafting and my face. Oh, this is a very easy question to answer. I have 2 webcams set up. I am using StreamYard, and StreamYard is a free service you can use to set up your live streams. And so I've got one camera that's pointing down here, and I've got another camera there, and you just have to make sure that you mute the tab and the microphone for one of your cameras so that you don't have echoes happening all over the place. So you can give that a try. If you have some more details that you want to know about it, if you're in the YouTube group or in my Facebook group, you can ask me there or send me a message on YouTube that you want some more details. Leave a comment. Don't leave it in the chat here. Leave a comment on this video so that I'll see it and I can answer it. I just realized I could do voice recognition talking to answer my comments, so I should be able to get more caught up on my comments on YouTube. Groups of 5 or more, you can't do, Mariah, but being on camera is no problem. Interesting. Yeah, we all have our limitations. No, Sharon, don't say that. Don't discount. Please don't apologize for yourselves, okay? Whether it's your skills, whether it is your location, whether it is your technical knowledge, whether it is your piece of art, there is no reason to apologize for anything unless you screw somebody over. Then you need to apologize, and you need to do it fast, and you need to mean it. But don't, we try to work things out. I mean, I feel lucky. Jude is one of my dearest friends, and she does not live on the same continent as I do. So I really need to, try and make it work for as many people as possible. And sometimes that means doing it twice. Sometimes that means doing a morning thing and an evening things. And that's okay. Tony, you do Instagram live with just my phone. Oh, interesting. Well, I have not done an Instagram live, but maybe I need to try it and see. I have no idea. Do you follow me on Instagram, Tony? If you do, send me a message there, and maybe I will try. I was thinking today about doing some Instagram lives, and I just wasn't sure what to talk about. But maybe I will do that, and we can try it out. Yeah, and Zoom is easy, and because I've got the pro account, so I can have as many people as I want. Facebook group. Jude or Terry, could somebody put a link in the chat for Tony about the Facebook group? It's called Susan Taylor Brown Creative Circle. We are just like 9 people short of hitting 400 people, which is amazing to me. Joy says, I'm comfortable talking on my phone as that's how I video things. Oh, there we go. Jude gave, see, I'm getting caught up on comments. Instagram Live. Okay, so I don't know about doing Instagram Live with 2 cameras, but guess what I'm going to check out today? Yeah, please don't forget to like the thing. I'm not going to. All right, I know Shauna wants to go live, and my voice isn't going to last. So do you guys want me? What I'll do, I'll stitch this thing up, and then next week we'll cut it up on camera if that's what you want. Or do you want me to, maybe I'll just film it. I'll film it, and then we can put it back together next week. You guys let me know what you want. I could just do a reason to do a little video. Yeah, I normally go every week from 12 to 1:30 here. StreamYard does not yet stream to Instagram. But I am immediately, Lennon is a pro with doing the Instagram lives, and I am immediately going to go over there and ask him if I can do 2 videos, or I might just, experiment myself and see. I don't know. I mean, I know how to do one, so we'll see. But I was just thinking this morning, I watched a video about, doing more things better on Instagram. I watched that this morning and was trying to kind of make a plan for Instagram lives. And but maybe I'll just pop in like I did on YouTube. The one takeaway from the video I watched is they said that they're not going to do away with Instagram TV, but they're not going to call it Instagram TV anymore, or IGTV. Darcy, do I want you to wait a week? Okay, no, I don't. So what I'll do is I'll just keep stitching on this on an Instagram live, and it may not be with 2 cameras, so you might only see this. I might switch cameras. We'll check it out. And then I'll film the cutting it up. Because see, look at it. Okay, if you look at it like this and you cut it, there would be this tendency to be precious about what you keep together. But when you flip it over and I cut it here, I'm not going to see what I've got, right? I am just going to cut randomly. Streamlab does, Jude says. So Streamlab Streamlab intimidated the heck out of me, and it was the reason I did not go live for a long time. All right, guys, it's time for me to go grab some lunch and some water, and then I'm going to go experiment on Instagram. I will finish stitching this up, and I'll show you a short little video on what we do when we cut this up. All right. Thank you guys so much. Love the conversation. Love the ideas. I will definitely start adding a Zoom component to my class planning list. Thank you all. All right. You guys have an awesome week. Go out and make art your way just because it makes you happy. Okay. Oh, Judy, she says, thank you for being so generous with your talents. Thank you. Thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate them. They motivate me, and I will see you guys next week. Okay. And in the group. All right. Bye-bye.